All right, good evening, everyone. To gavel us in this evening, we've got two very special guests, Jacob and Eliana Hayes, my two grandkids. And so Jacob and Eliana, if you come forward and please gavel the meeting in. Okay, I will call this meeting to order. Now, Jacob and Eliana are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, guys. All right, would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Baldino?
Here.
Trustee Grasse?
Here.
Trustee Schwingbeck?
Here.
Trustee Shirley?
Here.
Trustee Bertucci?
Here.
Trustee Tinaglia?
Here.
Trustee Dunnington?
Here.
Trustee LaBedz?
Here.
President Hayes?
Here. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes, and we just have one set to approve tonight. That's from our meeting of April 7, 2025. Any changes or passes?
Pass, please.
Passed by Trustee Grasse. Motion to approve.
Move approval of the minutes from the April 7th, 2025 Village Board meeting.
Second.
Motion by Trustee LaBedz, second by Trustee Schwingbeck. Any questions or comments from the board? Anything from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have the approval of the accounts payable, and I call on Trustee Bertucci.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move approval of the warrant register for check date 4/15/2025 in the amount of $3,893,608.70.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Bertucci, second by Trustee Baldino. Questions or comments from the board? Anything from the audience? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Bertucci?
Yes.
Trustee Baldino?
Yes.
Trustee Grasse?
Yes.
Trustee Tinaglia?
Yes.
Trustee Shirley?
Yes.
Trustee LaBedz?
Yes.
Trustee Schwingbeck?
Yes.
Trustee Dunnington?
Yes.
President Hayes?
Yes. Well, next on to the reason why most of you are with us tonight, and that's recognitions and communications. And as you know, we just had a municipal election in the community a couple of weeks ago, and with that, that means that some board members will be leaving. And so we're here tonight to recognize some very hardworking and well-deserved members of our public body that have worked very hard on behalf of you and our community for, in Nicole's case, 4 years, and in Rich's case, 8 years. And so we want to recognize both of them for their outstanding service to the Village of Arlington Heights. We've been blessed by so many great elected representatives, not just on this village board, but in the park district, the library board, the school districts, the townships, and we want to continue that tradition going forward. And so we can't thank both Nicolle and Rich enough for their great service to our community. And so we want to officially recognize them as this will be their last full board meeting tonight. And so we'll start with Nicolle. And Nicolle, if you just join me down front. Well, Nicolle, I've so much enjoyed working with you for the past 4 years, and I know you've got even greater responsibilities that you're already doing, but will continue to do after you leave our office here at Village Hall. But I know you're going to continue to do great work on behalf of the residents of Arlington Heights and all those other residents and other communities that you represent. But your compassion has been clear throughout the past 4 years, and I've very much enjoyed working with you, learning from you myself. Always something new to learn, and you've definitely taught me a lot of things as well, and so I very much appreciate that. And so with that, I would like to read this official proclamation recognizing Trustee Nicolle Grasse for her 4 years of service as trustee with the Village of Arlington Heights. Whereas Trustee Nicolle Grasse was elected to the Arlington Heights Village Board in 2021. In addition to her elected service, Trustee Grasse has been an active member of the community for many years, serving as an ordained minister, hospice chaplain, dedicated volunteer, and advocate for all. And whereas Trustee Grasse's representation was expanded when she was appointed state representative for the 53rd District in June 2024. And she will continue to serve and represent the Arlington Heights community after she leaves the village board as a member of the Illinois House of Representatives following her formal election to that office in November 2024. Whereas in all of these capacities, Trustee Grasse has served the public with transparency, thoughtfulness, compassion, and fairness, always working to ensure that all perspectives are heard and considered in the decision-making process. In her public service roles in both hospice and local government, she has supported people from all life experiences, cultures, religions, and economic levels, and involved them in creating solutions to the problems that matter most. Whereas during her tenure on the village board, Trustee Grasse has been an advocate for promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion within village government by encouraging a broad cross-section of the community to serve on village boards and commissions, and by encouraging village government to find new and creative ways to seek out, engage with, and respond to the many diverse voices within the Arlington Heights community. Now, therefore, I, Thomas W. Hayes, Mayor of the Village of Arlington Heights, do hereby recognize and congratulate Trustee Nicolle Grasse for her many contributions to the Village of Arlington Heights as both village trustee and dedicated community leader. Although we know her efforts on behalf of others will continue on, her time on the village board will be remembered and valued by all. Congratulations, Nicolle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been my honor and privilege to serve this wonderful community, and I thank all of you. I will carry this with me always. What brought me to run for office were a couple of people, Mary Kay Baldino and Mary Beth Canty. I was trying to support other people to run for office. And they said, why don't you consider running? And I did. And so I just wanted to put that out there. This is one of the greatest things I've done in my life, and I love what I do as a hospice chaplain. But to be able to serve our greater community, all in our community, is a gift beyond what I even thought it would be. So I want to encourage other people to consider running. It has been so wonderful. I truly did this and believe and do everything in my life with the belief that we are all interconnected, that what affects one of us directly affects all of us indirectly, and we need each other. And I have been so impressed and grateful for everybody I've been able to work with on this board, the village staff. I want to also recognize Mayor Hayes' 34 years of public service. That is such an amazing gift. And I have really admired your faith that has guided you in everything that you've done. And I've really been grateful for some of the wonderful projects we've been able to work together in my short time here in 4 years that have really made a difference for the greater community. You know, some of the projects like Full Circle, Shelter, Crescent Place. We've done some wonderful things that will help future generations, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do all of this good work with all of you, and I thank you. It's been my honor and blessing to serve all of you. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could too, just on behalf of staff, I was just going to say that Trustee Grasse has always been an excellent listener. She would meet and speak with anybody on any topic, even if it was very clear that the only reason they wanted to speak with her was to vocally disagree with her. She was always a great advocate for village staff and making sure we had all the support that we need to do our jobs. And we're very much looking forward to continue to work with her as a state representative. And I think the fact that our voters in this community have elected 2 of our village board members to be state representatives says a lot of how the community views this village and this village board. And so I won't miss her that much because we're going to still be working together in a different way. But I did want to present a couple of items
Nicolle, why
on
don't you
behalf
come
of the village as well to Trustee Grasse.
I don't like being the center of attention.
Okay.
We did have something for Mike, being the spouse of an elected official.
It's not easy.
All right. All right, Rich, come on down. Yeah, why don't you come over here? Well, Rich, I've really enjoyed working with you for the past 8 years. I'm sad that not only I'm leaving, but you're leaving as well. And so the board will dearly miss you. The community will dearly miss your dedicated leadership and thoughtful and analytical approach to problem solving and decision making. And I think that was really your strong point. You know, you really came well prepared for every meeting, really thought about things before you voted on them, and voted your conscience. And I very much appreciated that for the past 8 years. And so I know I'm going to miss you, and I know the community will miss your dedicated service as well. So with that, let me read this proclamation in recognition of Trustee Richard Baldino for his 8 years of service as trustee with the Village of Arlington Heights. Whereas Trustee Richard Baldino was elected to the Arlington Heights Village Board in 2017. A 26-year resident, Trustee Baldino and his family moved to Arlington Heights because of its reputation as a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And he has worked to further enhance that reputation in the past 8 years as an elected official. Whereas throughout his elected service, Trustee Baldino listened to and engaged the community before making decisions. As a consulting environmental chemist, he worked hard to maintain and improve critical village infrastructure, secure renewable energy contracts, and explore sustainability options. Trustee Baldino has also been instrumental in supporting local businesses, affordable housing initiatives, and new ways to embrace diversity to include everyone within the village. Whereas Trustee Baldino's thoughtful and analytical approach to decision-making has helped the village board reach well-reasoned decisions that are in the best interest of the community as a whole. Whereas, as a result of Trustee Baldino's distinguished service, the Village of Arlington Heights remains a stable, financially strong, and welcoming community in which high-quality services are provided at the lowest possible cost to our taxpayers, who are proud to call Arlington Heights home. Now, therefore, I, Thomas W. Hayes, along with the Village Board of Trustees, do hereby recognize and congratulate Trustee Richard Baldino for his many contributions to the Village of Arlington Heights as both village trustee and dedicated community leader. Although we know his efforts on behalf of others will continue on, his time on the village board will be remembered and dearly missed. Congratulations, Rich. Floor is yours.
Well, I know what you all are thinking. Here comes that trustee that never shuts up. I promise this will be true to form and it will be short and sweet. 40 plus years ago, my Uncle Don, out of the blue, said, "You should run for municipal office." And I thought he was nuts. Well, here we are. 8 years ago, when I was running a write-in campaign, I met with all the sitting trustees, and one of the trustees told me being a trustee is easy. Yes and no. After 8 years, I got used to things like talking to people. The hardest thing is saying no. And, you know, there's always an opposite side to every issue that we cover. So you're always saying no to somebody. That was hard. That was something that I never got used to. But it has been an honor to serve on this board. And I want to thank the board for their respectful attitudes and the atmosphere that they created. I want to thank the staff, and not just the staff that we see here in the boardroom every night. I want to thank the entire village staff for their professionalism and their dedication to this community. I want to thank the folks that have supported me over the past 8 years. And finally, I just want to say thanks to my family, to my folks who also thought I was nuts when I told them I was running a write-in campaign, to my children who supported me both morally and doing work, and finally to my wife, Mary Kay, without whom I would literally not be here. So thank you, and I look forward to switching the role of being the spouse of an elected official. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, why don't you give him the microphone?
So on behalf of staff too, I also want to thank you. As the mayor said, Trustee Baldino is someone who always wanted to get to the heart of a matter. He was very inquisitive. He always asked questions. He never accepted an idea at face value. We also are grateful he's one of the few elected officials I've ever known that didn't find it necessary to say his piece when his piece was already said by somebody else. And so we appreciate that as well. But he's very much going to be missed, and these are a couple of tokens on behalf of the village. And then we do have something for Mary Kay as well. So thank you very much.
We're not done.
Okay.
We have a few whereases for you, too.
All right. I'm glad I didn't have to write them.
Yeah. Mayor Hayes, it was 12 years ago when you were elected mayor, and then you had the faith in me to select me to fill your shoes as a trustee. I had no idea what the ride would be like, but I knew it would be great, and it certainly has been. You have led us, as was said earlier, in front of the community room, you've led us through thick and thin, but we've always come out on top, and I will steal your thunder and say this community, because of you, has always been second to none. So thank you so much. I know the whole community thanks you for what you've done and all these 34 years, which is just amazing. And I don't think it will ever be replicated. So you really made your mark here in Arlington Heights. So thank you. And with that, I shall read the whereases. Whereas Thomas W. Hayes faithfully served on the Village of Arlington Heights Board of Trustees totaling 34 years, with 22 years serving as a trustee since his election in 1991 and 12 years serving as mayor since his election in 2013. And whereas Thomas W. Hayes began his career in public service after graduating from the United States Military Academy at West Point in 1978, followed by 22 years of service in the United States Army when he retired at the rank of lieutenant colonel, as well as a nearly 40-year career as a practicing trial attorney. And whereas Thomas W. Hayes has called the Village of Arlington Heights home since 1983 after first attending kindergarten in the village in 1961. And whereas Thomas W. Hayes delicately balanced the need for the Village of Arlington Heights to grow and develop while always preserving the community values, fiscal responsibility, and his mantra, quality of life in Arlington Heights is second to none. And whereas Thomas W. Hayes provided invaluable insight and leadership on a plethora of projects, including but not limited to developing downtown Arlington Heights as a premier restaurant and entertainment district in the northwest suburbs, attracting major businesses to the community, such as the United Airlines Network Operations Center, offering community support during the 2008 recession and the COVID-19 pandemic, creating Arlington Al Fresco and numerous community events, replacing lead service lines, protecting ash trees, and crafting the principles and framework for the redevelopment of Arlington Park, all while maintaining policies of responsible governance and fiscal conservatism. Therefore, I, President Pro Tem Robin LaBedz, along with the entire Arlington Heights Village Board of Trustees, do proclaim appreciation for the dedication and service Thomas W. Hayes gave to the Village of Arlington Heights as trustee and mayor, and be it further proclaimed, the Village of Arlington Heights hereby recognizes his wife, Susan, his children, Tara and Timothy, and the entire Hayes family for their support and sacrifice in the service of Thomas W. Hayes to the Village of Arlington Heights.
Thanks, Robin. Well, I think there was some blue cards. We had some blue cards here, and so I want to recognize Tom Stengren. Tom, is he still here? There he goes. It takes him a little longer to get to the podium these days.
First of all, I want to thank you to Nicolle and to Richard for your service, and congratulations and best wishes for your future. Now, for Mr. Hayes. Tom and I came on the village board together in 2011.
1991.
Or 91. We ended in 11. Sorry, we ended in 11. And when we ended, when I ended, Tom gave me a gift as a going away. You remember what that gift was?
I do remember.
It was a people mover, actually. And what it actually was a little 2-year-old scooter, plastic scooter, and that was the people mover, because that was an idea I had for the village of Arlington Heights. Obviously, it never went any further than that, but it's a little payback time today.
Okay.
So I brought you a gift today, and I'd like you to open it in front of the village board and the audience today. And this is a gift that hopefully when you look at it, you'll keep it and remember our time on the board together, which I remember every day. And so I'm so thankful that we've been able to maintain our friendship beyond the village board. And I want to, again, thank you and show my appreciation
Okay, come on up,
for the
Tom.
work that you've done.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous about this. Oh. Yeah, I don't want to break it. Well, whoops. This is significant, Tom. Thank you so much. Tom and I spent 20 years on the board together, and we had a lot of interesting baseball discussions. Of course, I'm a Cubs fan. Tom's a Sox fan, and so he wants me to display this proudly next to my Cubs memorabilia.
I do want you to do that. I want you to remember me fondly whenever you see that.
This is very nice, Tom. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
And Bill Dixon? I told Bill when I saw him, he looks like he's ready to run a village board meeting tonight.
I can still tie a tie, but not as fast as I used to. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here on such a happy occasion and such a significant occasion. I think Trustee Grasse and Trustee Baldino, with their remarks, really captured what drives and leads people to come to the village board and seek election and get elected and serve the way they do. People get the government that they deserve. And in Arlington Heights, the citizens, they want good government, and they get it because of people like the 9 who are seated here and those who are going to take their place. Certainly the staff is a big part of it, but it starts at the top with the elected officials. They set the tone. And certainly all of you have done a wonderful job of that. I thought both the comments by Trustee Grasse and Trustee Baldino were excellent. And it's always nice to talk after others have talked, because then you don't have to say what you were going to say. In terms of Mayor Hayes, 34 years has been mentioned. He has some personal traits. I mean, I could, as the resolution did, or the proclamation cited accomplishments, but I think his personal traits are worth noting. It was my pleasure to work with him for 21 years, and Randy's had nearly 11 now with Mayor Hayes as well. He's honest, he's straightforward, he's collaborative, dependable. He's gotten very good with the media. He had a lot of practice of that the last few years. I'll be sitting at breakfast listening to news radio or sports talk, and here comes Tom being interviewed. And I don't know, he's probably finished running, had his shower, and on the way to work, but they catch him all kinds of times. And he certainly is in the Herald all the time with various issues, but he's really become a very polished spokesperson for this village. And that doesn't come easy. You've got to, when you're talking to the media, you've got to visualize your words in print or on the air. And I think Tom's really gotten good at that. Finally, he's a wonderful leader. I would just like to talk for a moment about dedication. As many of you know, he's a runner, and he ran many times in the Boston Marathon. Now picture this, that's always on the third Monday in April. Today, they ran the Boston Marathon. He would go the night before, run in the marathon, hustle to an airplane, and walk in here for the board meeting that night. I don't know many people who could do that or would want to try, but he did it. When the terrible bombing occurred on April 15th of 2013 at the finish line, we were getting calls in the manager's office from people saying, "Have you heard from Tom? Is he okay?" We didn't know, but we did get word eventually that he was okay. And sure enough, he walked right in here that night for the meeting, and we were all very thankful. Families have been mentioned, and certainly Sue Hayes, his wife, deserves a lot of credit and thanks for sharing Tom all these years, as do the spouses of those who have spoken previously. Tom's kids, Tara and Tim, and the grandchildren, I know they're very proud of you, Tom, as are all of we. And I want to certainly observe the 3 minutes, practice what you preach. Thanks for all you've done, and best wishes going
All right,
forward.
thanks so much, Bill. Is there anyone else?
Mayor?
Andy?
I just want to say, a lot of it has already been said, but, I want to thank Mayor Hayes for his support of staff during all those years. His advocacy, thoughtful, pragmatic leadership have always created an environment where staff felt comfortable taking risks and pitching big ideas. And I know the village board has felt comfortable taking on challenging issues that a lot of other communities wouldn't touch. And a lot of that has to do with that leadership that Bill mentioned. You've always understood, I think more so than any other mayors I've worked with, that the village board does its best work when it's achieving consensus and when we get clear direction, up and down the organization. And, even when the board's consensus wasn't your own personal choice, you always would advocate for that and push for that to get it done. And again, that's a rare trait in politics and government today. So each department has actually put together a small token of appreciation for you. And so we're going to go through the departments quickly and offer those tokens from us. And we're going to start off with our Assistant Village Manager, Diana McCula. Oh, yeah. We do want to, before we do that, why don't we call up Sue? We can embarrass her a little bit as well. And we do have some flowers for her, and she can help collect all the stuff that we're going to be presenting here.
Thanks, Diana.
So you can go first.
Yeah.
of our
Okay.
appreciation, Mayor. So, on behalf of the Village Manager's Office and an IT, we do want to thank you so much for being a part of the office. We really became a family over the years. And we enjoyed sharing laughs about the TV shows, Survivor, Bachelor, Bachelorette, and all the other shows, and also getting all of your recommendations for after your movie nights. So we learned a lot. We cried at different times, but we had a lot of joy and celebration with your leadership in the community. So on behalf of us, we do want to say thank you. So tonight, we have 3 gifts for you. And the first one is the village flag. So for a combined 34 years of service, you have stood watch over the village with honor, integrity, and unwavering dedication. So tonight, we gift you with the flag of the village as a mark of everlasting respect, and it represents the community you've protected, uplifted, and guided. So here's your flag.
Thanks, Diana.
The second item that we have is a gavel. And the gavel, as you know, is a powerful symbol of leadership, order, and decision-making. And the gavel that was once a tool in your hand became a symbol of fairness, courage, and thoughtful governance. So we gift you a gavel as a lasting tribute to the legacy that you've built with strength, wisdom, and heart. So this is very heavy. And we'll open this. And we engraved it for your 34 years of service.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. Diana, come on. Let's get Chris. Got it, Chris?
The third gift we're giving you is actually, it's really cool. Jack in our office went through the archives working with Becky, and we were able to find your original oath cards. So we're gifting you the first oath card that you signed as a village trustee in May of 1991, and then as village president in May of 2013. So on behalf of all of us, we want to say thank you for being a part of the family and creating a family environment. We're going to miss you in the office.
Thanks, Diana.
And while we're taking pictures, next up is Fire Chief Lance Harris.
Thanks, Diana. Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, Mayor, everybody's had a lot of nice things to say, so I'm not going to repeat a lot of it, but I wanted to say from the men and women, both active and retired, over your 34 years, your unwavering support of the fire department and first responders in general can't be matched, and we wanted to thank you so much. We did something today that, you know, you've always been data-driven, so we went back and we looked, and 3/4 of our department, 87 people have retired over your tenure of the 34 years. So
The whole
just
department?
a fun fact that 3/4 of our department is retired from the first day you started. But we just wanted to say thank you for your support. And we have a shadow box with all your elected days and the flag that flew over headquarters today with a challenge coin with that attached.
Very
So
nice.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. All right.
Next up, we have Kelly Livingston, who are Director of Human Resources.
Mary Hayes, from the HR team, we just have a small care package as a token of our appreciation for your commitment to our community. So
Thanks, Kelly.
just some goodies. I will just pull out one of them. This is our favorite. You know, you like outdoor activities.
Very nice.
So we thought you would pick it out.
That, very nice.
Yes. Some other goods from.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next up is Emily Rodman from our Planning and Community Development Department.
The
Mayor Hayes, I've only had the pleasure of working with you for about 6 short months, but certainly your reputation and your legacy precede you, and I'm a bit remiss that I didn't get to spend more time with you. But the department knows quite well what a big baseball fan you are, and so we wanted to gift you something extremely rare. We have embossed the Planning and Community Development Department logo on a baseball, and we have autographed it. So it is one of a kind.
Thanks, Emily.
Next up is James McAllister, Director of Health and Human Services.
Mayor, when I started here, I think I've been through 5 mayors now. And I remember when you became mayor, I thought, great choice. He's following Mayor Mulder. He works downtown. How's he gonna attend all of our events? And there you were at all of our senior center events, all of our commission events. Sometimes you'd have something in your ear, but you're doing 2 things, but you were always at all of our events. And I really appreciate that. So one of the things we got you is a picture album book with all the wonderful times you were at different events, great memories.
Oh.
You can kind of go through them, and there's just a lot of them.
Very
in here,
nice.
'cause you
Thanks,
were always
James.
at our events, so thank you for that. And then my staff, Senior Center wants to make sure you still come to their big events, so they gave you a year's.
All right.
And our environmental health officers want to make sure you think about food safety when you're cooking this summer in the grill, so they got you a metal stim thermometer. And our nurses, they know you like to run, and they know you're getting a little older. So they got you a muscle massager.
Oh.
They also got you some Epsom salts. And then social services, they got you a bonsai tree kit that says keep calm and grow on. And then our Commission for Citizens with Disabilities, you were always there for them, always going to their events. So we have you a shirt from the Citizens for
Very nice.
Commission
Thank
for
you.
Disabilities.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for all you've
Thanks,
done for our
James.
community. Sorry, there's a few things there.
Now, from the finance department, I hope it involves money. Melissa? Here, James, let's take a picture. Thanks, James.
Melissa Gallagher, our Director of Finance.
Thank you. And Mr. Mayor, I've only worked with you just a few short months. I wanted to say thank you for your years of service to the community. 34 years is such a long-standing amount of time with the village. And you are correct. We would not be remiss without providing a little bit of coin or money to you. And so from the finance department, we actually have from the U.S. Mint a congratulations set. It was minted at West Point, I believe. And so we wanted to say thank you. So you are correct, a little bit of money from us.
Okay.
And then also, I would like to present with you, we've marked it void. We did make sure with document destruction records that we're able to provide this to you. It is one of our older bond papers that we're able to present to you, and it's marked void, paid in full from our Waterworks and Sewer Works revenue bonds,
Very
because I know
nice.
that was a commitment for you.
Thanks, Melissa. Take a picture. Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right, next up is our Chief of Police, Nick Pecora.
Good evening, Mayor.
Nick?
34 years. I still have you beat. Congratulations. What a great run. And Mayor, what an awesome title. To be duplicated with Lieutenant Colonel. Both awesome ranks and titles. In our service, we're a paramilitary organization. You served honorably in the military, and we thank you for your attention to duty. We thank you for your dedication, your leadership as our mayor, over the last 12 years, and again, your 34 years of service. We couldn't do it without you. We have a plaque that the 140 men and women of the Arlington Heights Police Department want to give to you, honoring you in your service. And I won't read the narrative, but I'll read the last sentence. A prime example of your leadership is the above pictured impressive civic building, the police station, designed, financed, constructed, and dedicated during your tenure as mayor. Mayor, thank you very much for your service.
Thanks, Chief.
And next up is Ron Weber, our Director of Building and Life Safety.
Lieutenant Colonel retired Mayor Hayes. All right, Army Corps values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Thank you for living those core values and being an inspiration. On behalf of the Building and Life Safety Department, present you a hard hat.
All right.
Pretty simple.
Thanks, Ron. Very nice, Ron. Thank you.
All right, last but not least, we have our Director of Public Works, Christopher Perniak.
Mayor, we struggled to determine how to measure what you've meant to us over the years. So we literally just did that. We measured everything you've done for us in our infrastructure. We have 396,886 feet of municipal buildings rebuilt or refurbished, 42.5 miles of water main replaced, 19.6 miles of sanitary sewer relined, 750 municipal vehicles replaced, 12,000 ash trees removed and replaced, 22,000 trees planted, 41,000 meters replaced, because we did it twice, 326 miles of roadway reconstructed and resurfaced, and a train station relocated and rebuilt. In your honor, we collaborated with the makerspace to build this plaque for you. I do have a box with. We heard that you're a minimalist, so we had brought items. We brought water main, I brought brick, I brought everything that's important to us, and we decided this would be better for you.
Appreciate it.
Unfortunately, it's still really big.
Oh, wow.
But we made that with makerspace and heart, and we labeled everything for you.
Oh, outstanding.
Marathon of public service.
Very nice. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it very much.
Turn it around. Can you turn it around so we all can see? Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
That's cool.
And if we want to get a picture with the entire Hayes family up there before we move on from this item.
Come on up.
She's ready.
Come on, guys.
You go ahead. All right, I'm going to do it as well. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My turn?
Your turn.
All right, well, I should retire more often. The only problem is, Sue's been after me to buy a new house, a bigger house, and I may have to do that to put all this stuff that I've been getting in the last few months. But thank you all for being here. What a wonderful honor. All of this whole evening has been great. The reception, this naming the community room after me, what a great honor. And all these special recognitions, I really don't deserve it, but I very much appreciate it. And so thank you all for being here tonight. I knew it was going to be hard. leaving office after 34 years, but I didn't know it was going to be this hard. And so it has been difficult, but I've adjusted, and I think I'll be able to handle it once I do leave office on May 5th. So I got another couple of weeks, but I've really enjoyed every single moment of these past 34 years. You know, when I talk to elementary school kids about local government, I always encourage them to use their God-given talents in one way or another to give back to their community, to lead a lifetime of selfless service. And I told them it doesn't have to be as an elected official, it could be in a number of different ways. And I always hoped that God would give me talents to be a professional baseball player. Well, he had other plans. And so I never became a professional baseball player, but I still watch the Cubs all the time, so I can get in through the back door that way. But I've just reflecting back on my 34 years now, I mentioned Ruth O'Connell previously. Back in 1990, some 35 years ago, she asked if I would be interested in running for village trustee. And I said, you know, I've always been interested in public service, and I think I'll give it a try. And little did I know I'd be standing here 34 years later. And so I go back to 1991 when I was first elected with Tom Stengren and Arlene Mulder, my predecessor, and with Kathy Hahn. So we actually had 4 new trustees taking seats back in May of 1991, which is really the biggest turnover that this village board has had in the 34 years, even bigger than this year, when we're having 3 new people take seats here. So that was almost the whole board back in 1991. And certainly lots of great elected officials that I worked with over those years. I sat right here in the old building next to Trustee Dwight Walton, who a lot of you know. What a great public servant. I really appreciate everything that I learned from Dwight, from sitting next to him over the course of those years. I also learned a lot from guys like Mike Schrader and Steve Dady. I consider them to be mentors as well. And so many different people that I've served with over the course of 34 years, and I've said it once before, I'll say it again, we've just been blessed with the elected officials that we've had here in our community, and I know the new board is going to continue on that tradition. I grew up in Arlington Heights, at least for kindergarten, just a couple of blocks from here at Sigwalt and Highland, just a couple of blocks from here. I don't think, my brother wasn't born yet, I don't think. You were born in 1960. So you might, I don't know if we were born then or not, but I went to kindergarten right down the street at the old Park School where South Middle School is now. And then I fast forward to 1991, again, being first elected as a village trustee, and then fast forward to 2013. It's already been mentioned when I was mayor-elect, as Trustee Tinaglia is now. I did run the Boston Marathon 12 years ago from today, and that's when the Boston Marathon bombings occurred. And the reason why I wanted to rush back was because it was Mayor Mulder's last meeting, and we were recognizing her that night. And so it was very special for me to be able to recognize, but that night really stands out in my mind as well. Certainly a lot of other things have happened over the past 34 years and 12 years as mayor, getting through the COVID-19 pandemic with the help of our businesses and our community residents and everybody involved. And then in the last 4 years, I don't like to mention the name because it will be the headline of the Daily Herald article tomorrow. So I'll just say it's a 5-letter word. That's actually a good word. And I feel very confident. I was hoping that we'd have a shovel in the ground by the time I left office, but I feel very, very confident that this new board is going to continue working very hard as this board and our staff has done to make that dream of a certain NFL team having their stadium here in our village for the next 50 years a reality. So again, I very much appreciate the work that our staff, our team has done over the past 4 years to try to make that occur. Over 34 years, I counted, that's 816 total meetings. That's about 8,000 votes. And I've said it before, but the 2 best votes I've taken out of those 8,000 are in this room tonight. And that's Bill Dixon and Randy Recklaus. And you can't have a good village board without a good village manager. And you can't have a good community without good village managers. And these are two of the best. We've been blessed with great leadership, both from this village board and from our village managers. And I can't thank both Bill and Randy enough for their support, their leadership, and most of all, their friendship over the course of the time that I've been able to work with them. So thanks to both Bill and Randy for that. Very much appreciate it. My biggest regret, back in 1991, my father had to turn in my petitions because I had to go to a court appearance that day for my other job, my paying job. And so my biggest regret is that neither my father nor my mother had the opportunity to see me sworn in as mayor. I think the proudest accomplishment that we've had as a community together has been the reputation that we've earned for good, honest local government, and the fact that we've been able to maintain our reputation as a family-oriented community where the quality of life is second to none. I'll say that for the last time, hopefully, tonight. But I've said it many, many times, and I truly, truly mean it. I've been concerned over the past few years, I have to tell you, about the fact that politics are creeping into local government. And I'm very proud of the fact that we've been able to keep politics out of this boardroom over the past 34 years. This is a nonpartisan position. These people are here to represent the entire community of Arlington Heights, not any particular political party. And I'm very confident that the new board under Mayor-elect Tinaglia's leadership is going to continue that tradition. And all of these people, both the continuing trustees and the new trustees that are going to be filling these seats, are going to represent this community in the same way, represent all of the people of Arlington Heights and make decisions that are in the best interest of this community. So I know we have some other board agenda items to conduct and consider tonight, and I want to get my grandkids home to do their homework. But I just want to say in closing, I want to thank my family for all their love and support and prayers over the years. I wouldn't be standing here without all of you. And I do want to just particularly introduce, you already met my grandkids. I've got my brother Dave, my sister-in-law Mary, my brother-in-law Dave, my mother-in-law Donna, my son Tim, his wife Annalie. Where did Tara go? There she is. She's sitting right in front of me. My daughter Tara. And most of all, my wife Sue, my high school sweetheart from Prospect High School back in the early 70s. I would not be here without her love and support. So thanks to them in particular. Thanks to my colleagues on the village board. Thanks to the village staff and all of our employees for being the face of the franchise, really for really representing this community in a way that is reflective of what the good city of good neighbors is all about. And you guys reflect great credit on us. And you're the reason why we look so good is because you guys do such a great job, so we appreciate it. Finally, I want to thank the residents of this community for everything that they do to contribute to the quality of life here. And finally, I do want to thank God for watching over me for the past 34 years and watching over this community for that time as well. I've said many, many times over the course of the past 34 years, and especially the past 12 years, that it's but by the grace of God we go here in Arlington Heights. And I do really mean that. So I can't thank him and praise him enough for his support of me over the years. And so thank you all. All right, we've kept you longer than expected, so we do have some other business to conduct tonight, so please feel free to leave at this time. You guys, please. Right, we move on in the agenda to citizens to be heard. Are there anybody in the audience wish to address the board on items not on the agenda? All right, seeing none, let's move on to the consent agenda. Are there any members of the board who wish to remove an item on the consent agenda? Any members of the audience wish to request that an item on the consent agenda be removed? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience, or is anyone on the board wish to vote no or pass on any items on the consent agenda? If not, Trustee Tinaglia.
Mayor Hayes, I need to remove myself and pass on item number L, only because I have a business relationship with that petitioner.
Okay. Anybody else? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Grasse, seconded by Trustee LaBedz. Any questions or comments from the board? Anything from the audience on any items on the consent agenda? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Grasse?
Yes.
Trustee LaBedz?
Yes.
Trustee Baldino?
Yes.
Trustee Shirley?
Yes.
Trustee Schwingbeck?
Yes.
Trustee Dunnington?
Yes.
Trustee Tinaglia?
Yes.
Trustee Bertucci?
Yes.
President Hayes?
Yes. Move on then to new business, and we do have 3 items to consider tonight. The first is a resolution approving a First Amendment to the agreement with Huddenden Strategic Partners, Inc. for economic and market analytical services for the development of the Arlington International Racecourse property. Mr. Recklaus.
Thank you, Mayor. This item runs parallel to the contract approved for our traffic consultants that was approved by the board on March 3rd. In September of 22, Village Board approved an agreement with Huddenden Strategic Partners to conduct reviews of the financial and economic studies to be submitted by the Chicago Bear Football Club for their proposal for a new sports and entertainment district, including an NFL stadium on the former Arlington Park site. While those studies were started back in 2022, the Bears paused them, if you recall, in 23 due to disputes over the short and long-term property taxes for the site. Since that time, those issues have been resolved and the studies were resumed, and the village has in fact received draft preliminary versions of both traffic and economic impact studies, so we can now begin our review. This is obviously a significant milestone in the project, and therefore it's now necessary to re-engage with our consulting teams so all this information can be properly vetted and evaluated. These studies are going to be crucial to determine the economic and financial viability of the project and to identify and plan for the infrastructure needed to support it. Among other things, the economic study that we're talking about tonight is going to look at the amount of revenue and other economic benefits of the project, what those could bring to the village and the area as a whole, as well as project the cost of the development. The village's consulting team will review the Bears studies and conduct their own to ensure that we agree with the team's assumptions and methodology and that all factors needed to support the project are included in the analysis. As per the 2022 pre-development agreement that we entered into between the village and the club will be reimbursing the village for all of its expenses for these peer review studies once we do incur them. While the village continues to work with the team on these issues, it's important to stress that there's still much work to do to determine if an NFL stadium sports and entertainment district is feasible, desirable, and would be beneficial to the community on this site. These studies are a very important step in this process. This is going to be an iterative process. So what do I mean by that? It's not as simple as getting a big report and looking at it and seeing whether the traffic or the economics will work or they won't. It doesn't work that way. The way this is going to work is it's important to understand there's a relationship between any plan that we receive for the site, the traffic impacts of that plan, the costs of building the infrastructure needed to make make the plan work from a traffic perspective and parking perspective, the amount of revenue generated from that concept, and how those improvements will be paid for. All of those factors will work together and be refined over and over again until the plan is optimized. The goal is to find a plan that maximizes local revenue and economic activity while supporting the infrastructure improvements needed so that any traffic and other negative impacts are going to be minimized. It's iterative because there will be many iterations of this plan as assumptions are adjusted, calculations are refigured, and new concepts are explored. This is technical work, and I want to stress that this will take some time. The review of these initial draft studies alone will take several weeks. If the project moves forward Final studies and plans will be brought forward publicly as part of what will be, I'm sure, a robust public discussion by the village board, the community, in our region over whether the final version is desirable or not. Ultimately, that decision is up to the village board. As you all know, a lot of work has gone into this project to get us up to this point, and much work remains before it can even be considered formally by the village board and the public. We are continuing to work closely with the Chicago Bears Football Club to develop answers to all of our questions, but it's a tremendous opportunity for Arlington Heights, and we'll continue to work with the Chicago Bears Football Club and other stakeholders to make sure that any plan considered by the village board is as thoughtfully conceived as possible so an informed decision can be made in the future. Staff recommends approval of a resolution authorizing execution of the First Amendment with Hunden Strategic Partners LLC for economic and market analytical services for the redevelopment of the former Arlington International Racecourse property, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Randy. Any questions? Trustee Shirley.
Just a couple, Randy. So I know that the agreement was updated.
Yeah.
The basic $200,000, there's like 5 categories, breakdowns of different things. Did that price go up, or did just hourly rates go up over the last, 2 or 3 years?
Both of them went up slightly because of just, it's been a couple years and the cost of labor has gone up for these folks.
Okay. And then we did not pay anything to Hunden previously, correct?
Correct.
Because nothing happened. Okay, and then can you differentiate just a little bit for everybody? Like there's the $200,000 in the 4 or 5 different categories, and then there's a $12,500, I don't know if that's annual or on an as-needed basis, like monthly or something. Can you kind of differentiate what the 200,000 gets us and then what the 12.5 gets us and what frequency that's
yes,
paid?
let me just pull that up so I have that handy here. So the scope, the way that this is going to work, hold on 1 second here. So essentially, the first part of this project is going to be for review of whatever it is that, the project that the Bears give us. And then in addition to that, they're going to be looking at, they're going to be involved in any negotiations that we have with them. So depending on how long that goes, we're going to have them essentially on retainer for $12,500 a month for that negotiation period. And so they're going to be getting at least the $200,000 for reviewing it, and then they'll be on a retainer for the 12.5 as long as we need them for the 6 months, up to the 6 months. That's going to be, again, reimbursed by the club per our agreement with them in 2022.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay, any further questions? Trustee Bertucci.
Thank you, Mayor. So, Randy, on the approach to the scope of work, which is in that draft analysis of saying what their scope of work is, but anyways, it lists the 7 tasks and then goes into the advisory. So is there any, when I would look through this, I didn't quite see anything as far as like a projected timeline. Do you have a sense of what that timeline might be? And I understand it can't be.
A lot of that's going to depend on what we get from the club and how long it takes to come into agreement with them on it. So if all the numbers make sense to everybody right away, then this could be a relatively short process. If it takes a while to go through all those iterations, it could be longer. It's difficult to say how exactly long, but I think it'll take at least several weeks to get through the initial review, and then it'll take some time after that to negotiate with them.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further from the board? All right, seeing none. Anything from the audience? Seeing none. What's the will of the board? Trustee Baldino?
Thank you, Mayor. I move approval of a resolution approving a First Amendment to the agreement with Hunden Strategic Partners, Inc. for economic and market analytical services for the redevelopment of the Arlington International Racecourse property.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Baldino, seconded by Trustee Bertucci. Any further questions or comments from the board? Anything from the audience? Roll call.
Trustee Baldino?
Yes.
Trustee Bertucci?
Yes.
Trustee Grasse?
Yes.
Trustee Dunnington?
Yes.
Trustee Shirley?
Yes.
Trustee Schwingbeck?
Yes.
Trustee Tinaglia?
Yes.
Trustee LaBedz?
Yes.
President Hayes?
Yes. Next on the agenda is a request for land use variation to allow bakery products, wholesale, and production coffee roaster in the B3 district, and comprehensive plan amendment to reclassify the subject property as mixed use and associated variations. And this is for Roast 808 to be located at 3350 West Salt Creek Lane. The petitioner is present. Come on forward if you would. Sorry to make you wait.
It's quite all right. That was a lovely ceremony.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your tenure here and paving the way for what I hopefully am about to do in Arlington Heights. My name is Anna Parker. I own Roast 808, and I am very nervous right now, but I am also very excited to open this amazing roastery here at 3350 West Salt Creek Lane. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to speak them, and I will answer accordingly.
Okay, Emily?
Yes, thank you. So as the petitioner indicated, she's before you this evening for some zoning relief to allow her to open her coffee roastery at 3350 West Salt Creek Lane. On the screen, you can see an aerial of the location of her proposed business. The existing zoning for the property is B3, our general business district, and the current comprehensive plan designation is office only. So this use would not be allowed under the current comp plan designation. As was indicated, there are 3 zoning actions that are being requested this evening. That is the amendment to the comp plan, the land use variation to allow the coffee roastery, and then a variation related to the traffic and parking study. So as you can see in this exhibit, under the current comprehensive plan designation, the property is designated as office only, but a number of the properties surrounding the use are designated as mixed use. So the proposed amendment to the comp plan to redesignate this property as mixed use does make sense, and staff does anticipate over time that some of the uses may change in the rest of the area that's designated as office use, and it may become appropriate to redesignate those as mixed use as well. In terms of the land use variation that's being requested, the category of bakery products, wholesale, and production is a little unusual given that this is a coffee roastery, but this is the most appropriate category in our village code for this use because it is a production use. So I should use the arrows. There we go. Her proposed use will take up about 3,000 square feet in this district, and she is proposing to roast coffee as well as to provide some occasional tastings to the public and occasional classes. Her proposed hours of operation are 8 to 5, with 1 day of pickup on Wednesdays and then occasional scheduled pickups throughout the week as customers need it. And then she does intend to hold some special events during off-peak hours with small groups. With regard to the coffee roaster, there was much discussion at the Plan Commission regarding the roaster itself and potential odors. She has purchased a top-of-the-line coffee roaster, is seeking the appropriate certification that's required by our code, and has done all that she can to eliminate and reduce odors that may come from this small batch roasting. With regard to the last variation that's being requested is to waive the requirement for traffic and parking. This is a requirement that's typical for land use variations. I realize this screen is a bit hard to read, but what this table illustrates is that the overall site is overparked currently for the existing mix of uses. Her use only requires 2 parking stalls, and even with her use, there is an additional 16 parking stalls available on the site. So staff does not have any concerns about granting the relief from the requirement to submit a parking and traffic study. The Plan Commission did recommend unanimous approval of this use, subject to the conditions that you see above. One is obtaining that appropriate certification for the roaster, working to mitigate any odors, and the standard condition to apply with our codes. One unusual condition is staff had recommended that she install a bike rack to accommodate at least 2 spaces. That is a village code requirement. For some reason, the Plan Commission did not feel it necessary to require that, so they recommended removing that requirement. However, that would be a variation from the code, and we did not notice for that variation, and the petitioner is agreeable to installing it per the code. So the motion that is before the village board is the initial motion that staff had proposed, which does include the requirement to install that bike rack. And as the petitioner indicated, we are available for questions.
Okay, thanks, Emily. Questions from the board? Seeing none, it looks to Trustee LaBedz. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think it sounds like a great project. I read through all the material, including the discussion at the Plan Commission, and I will say that I do agree with keeping the bike rack there because it is near, as Trustee Dunnington had pointed out to me earlier today, that it's also near a bike path. So people, and there could be other uses too in the building that people may come by with a bicycle. So I would be happy to make the motion.
Please.
To direct staff and the village attorney to prepare the final documents, approving the requested relief for consideration at a future board meeting for PC number 25-001, a land use variation to allow bakery products, wholesale and production use, that is a coffee roaster in the B3 district, and a comprehensive plan amendment to reclassify the subject property from office only to mixed use, along with the following variations, which include the variation from Chapter 28, Section 6.12-1 to waive the requirement for a traffic and parking study prepared by a qualified professional engineer and the 4 conditions that were recommended by the Staff Development Committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Trustee LaBedz, second by Trustee Grasse. Questions from the board? Anything from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Well, that was easy. Good luck to you.
I'm so excited.
All right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you all come and have some of my coffee.
Looking forward to it.
And Mayor, that the ordinances will be prepared for the May 5th Village Board meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. So we move on then to item C. That's the Hickory Kensington Area Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area 10-year status report, right? And we need to go into a public hearing.
Correct.
On this item. And so I hereby call to order the public hearing concerning the 10-year status report for the village's Hickory Kensington Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Area. Notice of this public hearing has been published in the Daily Herald on April 1st, 2025, in accordance with state law. Will the clerk please call a roll?
Trustee Schwingbeck?
Yes.
Trustee Shirley?
Yes.
Trustee Bertucci?
Yes, or here, what are we looking for?
Trustee Grasse?
Present.
Trustee Tinaglia?
Yes.
Trustee Dunnington?
Yes.
Trustee Baldino?
Here.
Trustee LaBedz?
Yes.
President Hayes?
Here. All right, I declare the public hearing open. Do I need to read this then?
It'd be preferable, yes.
Okay. Section 5I of the Illinois Tax Increment Allocation Redevelopment Act requires that not later than 10 years after a municipality adopts an ordinance establishing a TIF district, the municipality must compile a status report concerning the district and hold at least one public hearing concerning the report. The village established its Hickory Kensington TIF district approximately 10 years ago, and therefore it is now the appropriate time to prepare and present the report for that district. I call upon our Director of Community Development, Emily Rodman, to present the status report for the Hickory Kensington TIF district. After the introduction, I will entertain questions from the village trustees, and then after that, I will call on any member of the public that desires to be heard on this matter. Ms. Rodman.
All right, thank you. The full report, of course, was in the board packet this evening, but staff did want to highlight for the benefit of the public some of the key points in that report. As Mayor Hayes mentioned, the district was established in July of 2014, and state statute does require that we provide a report of revenues and expenditures 10 years into the life of the TIF. The preliminary audit numbers just became available, and thus staff felt it was the appropriate time to provide this report to the village board. So as you can see, revenues as of December 31st, 2024, there was a total of $6.5 million in revenue. In terms of expenditures, as of the end of last year, there were 4 primary categories in which the village has expended money over the past 10 years. That includes studies and professional services, actual physical infrastructure improvements in the district, reimbursement to developers for various redevelopment agreements that we've negotiated with them, and then some property assemblage. So those costs totaled a little over $2 million. And then there's a summary on the slide of the investment that we've seen in the district in the past 10 years, which of course is the objective of establishing the TIF district to begin with. So you can see that there was a little over $2 million in public investment in the district. And in terms of private investment, there was $24 million, almost $25 million in the district in the past 10 years. So in total, between the public and private investment, there's been $26,898,432 invested in this district, which is really phenomenal. And I always like to include, when looking at these TIF reports, the public to private investment ratio, because I think that's quite telling. And you can see in this particular district, the public to private ratio is 7.6% to 92.4%. So really the vast majority of the investment that we've seen in this district has been through private dollars, but it has been the TIF dollars that have made it possible. So I think this is, we still have 13 years to go on the TIF, but I think this is an excellent example of how TIF has worked really well for this community. And we have other projects that are coming forward in this district. So we anticipate that we will see this kind of growth continue into the future.
Okay, thanks, Emily. Discussion from the board. Anything, questions? Trustee Bertucci.
So, Emily or Randy, there's about 4.5 million, if you do the simple math of 6.5 collected from property tax and interest, 2 million expenditures. So in situations of TIFs like this, do we have like any kind of a foreseeable budget of what else might be coming around the corner? I know there's other things yet to be developed, but are we starting to see the next 13 years from a budgetary standpoint?
Yes, so when the TIF is established, the village is required as part of the redevelopment project area to put forth a plan which outlines at a high level what types of projects we anticipate we would invest the TIF dollars in. That plan's obviously refined over time and as the market changes. We do have one project that staff is currently working with the developer on, the 5 North Douglas project. I believe the board has had some discussions on that in the past, and the project went dormant briefly, but they are back actively working with staff to move that project forward. So that is the most probably the most current project that we're working on, but we do have plans for other improvements in the area depending on what happens with the market.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Okay, all right, we'll call on the audience. Is there any members of the audience who wish to address the board on this item? Seeing none, I will then close the public hearing. Do I need a motion?
I just entertain a motion to close, Mayor.
Do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
By Trustee
Second.
Baldino, seconded by Trustee Tinaglia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I do it by voice? Okay. Are we done?
Done?
We do.
Go ahead, Randy.
We do have a request for closed session.
All right. We do have a request from the closed session from the village manager. And Randy, let me just say where that's pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel, and 5 ILCS 120/2C21, discussion of minutes lawfully closed, whether for purposes of approval of the minutes or the semi-annual review of the minutes. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
By Trustee Bertucci, seconded by Trustee LaBedz. Roll call.
Trustee Bertucci?
Yes.
Trustee LaBedz?
Yes.
Trustee Baldino?
Yes.
Trustee Grasse?
Yes.
Trustee Dunnington?
Yes.
Trustee Shirley?
Yes.
Trustee Schwingbeck?
Yes.
Trustee Tinaglia?
Yes.
President Hayes?
Yes. So we are adjourned into closed session and will not be reporting back out. Thank you all very much for joining us this evening.